Tonight I will share a few really important positive news, and also tonight we will focus on energy work to realign with the cosmic sovereign law of one, which is in assistance for you to return to your power, to return to your greater connection to your source, God, self. So we will also overview a little bit about the different aspects of the law of one, and in meditation we will it's going to be a powerful meditation to reclaim and realign yourself with the source itself, with your highest power, we may say. So let's start with some updates, some news, and then we'll dive deeper. So on a planetary scale, there has been very huge clearances going on. Very big clearances of the negative beings, of those who have been doing a lot of harm for humanity and on this earth. And as some of you may know, there are a lot of, we may say, underground tunnels. And you can see those things even in the movies, you know, the secret bunkers and things like that. So in those underground tunnels, there were a lot of, may say, troublesome and inhumane activities happening. And essentially, to simplify all of it, I would like to emphasize humanism. And this is a very simple and fundamental analogy to understand anything that's really happening right now and in the whole past of the whole human history. So humanism is respecting life, respecting the nature, and respecting human beings. Anti-humanism is destroying life. It is poisoning the human body. It is poisoning, destroying the nature, the planet Earth. So we may say naturalism and humanism is all about respect and love for the nature and life. And thus, if we look at the whole human history, if we look at all the recorded history, what has been going on this earth, there were a lot of troublesome activities, which are, as I call them, anti-life activities, in terms of destruction of nature, intentional harm, and wars, which are anti-human. And even today, if we look around, although the wars are finishing, but the whole economical shutdown is quite anti-human activity. So the economical shutdown is definitely creating more problems than solutions. It is not a supportive action. And we will also notice that pharmaceutical, the whole medical industry is not really focused on making people so healthy. Not at all. And if we look even in the food production, it's a very strange situation on Earth that now the food has been it's only been in the last few decades really that the food has been heavily poisoned with all the chemicals. You know, everything was organic 100 years ago or 200 years ago. Everything was organic. And then, you know, the big corporations with very greedy pockets started putting all chemicals, poisoning the food and the soil. So now we have all the biological organic brands coming back to restore this distortion. So food has been poisoned, water fluoridation, you know, as well. It has nothing to do with health. It's actually has a lot to do with calcification of the pineal gland. So there are a lot of activities which are very questionable on this planet, which if you simply put the word humanism in front of it or naturalism of the whole nature, you will very quickly understand who is doing what and who is supporting in life and who actually has other agendas and goals. So now what is happening is that humanity is awakening, and this is very good news. It's been many decades of, we may say, obvious seeing, but on a highest level, humanity did not have power yet to, we may say, resist and to take the power back into their own hands, into the positive hands, we may say. And thus, in about 20 years or so, the positive human beings have been planning of how to take the power back into their own hands, because even the financial system ended up in the wrong hands. The whole politics is a circus. So it became more and more obvious that things were turning in the wrong direction. And luckily, very fortunately, that the positive alliance, we may say, which is basically a united groups of people, have come together and at the highest level now started to take things over back into the positive hands. And therefore, now we see on the news what's going on. It's you know, in United States and in other countries, especially those who follow alternative media, you will notice that a lot of good things are happening right now. And you will see that a lot of resistance there is placed right now, that everything is being questioned right now. You know, the fakeness of the politics, the, you know, the whole monetary system. Any sane analyst will say that the financial system is insane. It doesn't correspond to anything logical, real, valuable. It's all digital and paper based. So many people have seen that things become very unlogical and very disconnected from, we may say, reality itself. And thus the alliance now is taking everything back into their own hand. So we may put some checkbox right now that the global military now is in good hands, that the global financial system is now in good hands. That's a checkbox. And I will not go into more details right now. You can research for yourself, but I will just make the biggest statements, and then you can dive deeper if you want with your own research. So the military now is in good hands. The financial system now is in good hands. The political arena is being cleansed globally right now. It's still in process, but there is a huge cleansing going on in all the whole political scene of the whole world. So that's in progress. Economically, it's a difficult situation right now. That is a counter effect of the financial, military, political cleansing. So the economy now is kind of suspended because the higher levels are being cleared. And you may ask, why I'm mentioning these things, like it seems very, human activities, what's going on. Yes, they are important because essentially we're speaking about freedom, we're speaking about humanism, and we're speaking about also liberation of consciousness. The media will be the next step, sometime very soon, that the media will be accountable for all the lies that are being spread and all the fears and all the manipulative agendas that are going on. So essentially it is important in spiritual terms what is going on in the physical, because spiritual and physical are not two. Yes, the spiritual and physical are not disconnected. They're one. They're connected, and therefore there is a law of one, that everything is actually one, that everything is very interconnected. If you know hermetics, there is a saying, as above, so below. So it is not separate from what is happening right now in the physical. It's not separate from the higher dimensions. It is not separate from the 4D, which has to do with emotions and the etheric fields and plasma fields and all kinds of entities over there. It's not separate from 5D, which is we may say, a real quantum reality based on its own real essence. And as we go into higher dimensions, 6D all the way through the 12D, everything is totally connected. We're living in a quantum universe, and no matter how high or how far something is, it's interconnected. So that's called the entanglement, the quantum entanglement. So therefore, just to finish up with some great news, is that very large clearings of some very big negative beings and groups of beings is now coming to completion. Most of the underground bases are cleared already, and also some negative technologies. That's a whole different topic. Some very large negative technologies, which has to do with electromagnetism, mind control, and things like that, are being also dissolved. So now the spiritual progress will be even easier. That's what I wanted to say. The spiritual progress is gonna get easier and easier as the negative and harmful technologies are being dissolved, disconnected, turned off. We may say that the 3D matrix is being dismantled right now. Yeah, the 3D controlled matrix is being step by step disconnected, dismantled, and turned off. And therefore people are awakening, and it's becoming easier to awaken. And it's becoming easier to reconnect with your own self. So this is very important, very big news. Yes, we will not go into coronavirus situation, but that is being handled, and according to some big sources, it should be, the lockdowns should finish around April, and most people say around May that the COVID should finish. This whole nonsense should finish very soon. Yeah, so April or May should be the month that this COVID situation, that the economy would be opened up again. Yes. And another note is that it has to do with technologies, that the global energy grid system, I'm not speaking about electrical grids, I'm speaking about global energetic grids, are also now being taken back into the positive hands, into the positive beings, human beings, angelic beings, higher beings, that the harmful reversed vortexes, that the harmful technologies are being dismantled. So the global energetic grid system is now returning back into the good hands, and therefore we are right at the edge of the new quantum reality, I may say, but it's not new because the whole universe is a quantum reality already. But because of these negative beings, they have what they did is they have reversed the natural polarities. They have reversed and blocked the key ley lines, the key vortexes on the earth, so to suppress the higher frequencies. This is a big story of the fall of, when I say the fall of angels or the biblical fall. It's a biblical story, really, and there were technologies used as well, so that for the earth, we may say, to fall from the fifth dimensional presence into the 4D, which is a lower dimension, and to distort it even further into a locked 3D matrix. So now, as we know, the global ascension is happening, and we are already at 4D level in terms of consciousness, and we're entering fourth density. So, and we are all obviously working towards complete restoration into the natural 5D energetics. So this is in progress right now. So a lot of things are happening right at the bottom, right at the very bottom, to remove these negative people and to start dismantling the whole matrix. And it's going good. The progress is going good. There are delays, but it's going good. So that's the most important bit. Some of you know that I have been working for quite many years in higher dimensions to do this restoration, as well as hundreds of thousands of other people on this earth have been very consciously working on clearing the 4D, on clearing these negative entities. We may say it sounds even a bit like biblical, the war of light versus dark, and so forth. Yes, it has been very similar. Not exactly, but very similar. It has been, and right now the dark has already lost. They lost all their key positions, and the light is now fully reclaiming this earth, this planet, and it's also known as the return of the Christ. But it's not a single person that is returning. It is the higher consciousness which is returning. It is the light which is returning. So if you're waiting for Jesus to save you, it's not going to be a person that's going to appear, or Buddha or somebody else. In religious sense, it's not going to be a certain person appearing and saving everybody. It is a collective light, a collective consciousness, which already has returned, and now it's establishing or re-establishing this higher consciousness back here on earth, that every human being can reawaken to their true essence, to their true nature. So Now I would like to go into the next topic of law of one. Many of you know law of one as a channel material, but I'm speaking of a little bit of a bigger picture of the universal law of one. So the channel material is also correct. It tells a bit more about the human history and particularly Egyptian times, but we will speak tonight in terms of the universal law of one, because it is the fundamental understanding that all things are made of intelligent energy and all are part of the all one. So essentially it is, we may say, a sacred science or a sacred law, a divine law of the natural way, of the natural laws of the universe. And in terms of what is what is more related to humans and what we can start as a humanity practicing and putting in action, is recognition of unity consciousness. So therefore I said humanism, yes, and naturalism, meaning that everyone is a human being, obviously. And it doesn't matter if one is taller or shorter or this from this part of the world or the other part of the world, or has a slightly more tan skin or more white skin. It doesn't matter. Everybody's human being. At the same time, all animals are living beings. You know, we're still witnessing very strange phenomena on this earth, which is killing to eat. So weird. Killing to eat. I mean, come on, isn't it time to grow up globally? You know, we don't have to kill others to eat. It's very barbaric, isn't it? So, but it's still going on. Fortunately, again, you know, there are many positive developments, and anybody with the sane mind realizes that killing to eat is no longer a good option. So yes, in the future, you know, everybody will be vegetarians, and those who will be transitioning, they will be able to eat, so to speak, the vegetarian meats, you know, the printed meats and the plant-based meats and so forth. Yes, so essentially, animals need to be protected. I can see a good question in the chat. What about animals who eat other animals? Very good question. Yes, that is also a certain survival mechanism. It is a certain survival mechanism that we may say it's part of also a 3D reality that unfortunately you know, we have certain animals that do eat other animals, and that is a way lower consciousness. That is a way lower consciousness. Essentially, it's a very large topic and question, but in 5D and above, animals do not eat other animals. This is a much longer history, even we may say beyond human history, and it has to do particularly with the third and fourth dimensions. That in the third and fourth dimensions, yes, there are these negative beings. Yes, there are these distorted actions like killing to eat. But when it comes to the 5D and above, which is a lot more when we say awakened state and reconnected to the source God self state, even the animals don't eat other animals. But in this regard, there have been genetic manipulations, but this is a very long history of millions of years, and we would need to go into many other subjects. However, I would like to simplify again to say that everything was created. Yes, first of all, everything was created. And anything that you see in the 3D has been created from 4D and above. Because at the very beginning there was consciousness or God, and from that the energy came out at the highest level. And as these vibrations started to slow down, the shapes and forms in the universe have appeared. The universal structures have appeared out of the source. As an analogy, we may say it came from the Big Bang, if you follow that line. So we may say from the Big Bang, from the source, the universal structures appeared. And that appeared in the most high dimension. And as these structures were forming more structurally and more condensedly, they became more and more slower and more defined structures. So therefore we have dimensions. This is why we're speaking third dimension, fourth dimension, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10, 11, 12 dimension. At the 12th dimension, everything is source. There are no bodies, you don't have a body, you don't eat, you don't die, and these things are only, at the lower dimensions. At the higher dimensions, as an individual, you have a soul, and your soul is not a defined shape. It's not a defined image of a body. Your soul is an energetic field. It's a spark of God. It's a spark of self. So thus, as everything was created from the higher dimensions, everything was created into the lower dimensions. And when it came from the fifth dimension to create the fourth and third dimension, this is where the anomalies started to occur. That's where the fall started to occur. Because in the biblical story, Adam and Eve was living in Eden, and I do not recall any records of lions eating, deers, and crocodiles eating other fishes. I don't recall any of these stories that there were animals eating animals. In the story of Adam and Eve, everybody was living peacefully, happily, eternally. And there was no fear between animals, isn't it? So there was no fear between animals, nobody was dying, and nobody was fighting. And in the story of the fall, this is where the lower dimensions were created, the 4D and the 3D, as temporary, perishable, distorted reality. So essentially, this is where, the whole cycle of birth and rebirth came to be, and the fear arose and the shame arose, and that's where the survival mechanisms kicked in, and over many, actually millions of years, the animals were created who were eating other animals, but that did not exist in 5D. And therefore, we are kind of sort of at the bottom of the whole universe, so to speak. That's not the best news, but the good news is that, all of you are already awakened beings, awakened souls. And we are here to bring the light back. And we are here to show the way back to your awakened state, to the source, to God. We're here the way showers, and to help others who have forgotten. So that's the situation right now. So right now the dark age is finished, and right now we are in the midst of the change into the age of Aquarius, and we will see in the next 5, 10, 15 years how quickly things will change. Yeah, like if we think that, if you recall, just like 200 years ago, there were no cars, no computers, nothing, no planes, just 200 years ago. That didn't exist. And now we're already talking about the space age. And then everybody has a supercomputer in their pockets. So in the next 5, 10, 15 years, things will change so quickly, so fast, that the light really accelerates the evolution. We may say when the room is dark, you light up a single candlelight and everything becomes clear. And the more candlelights you light up, the brighter everything is. So this global candlelight has already been lit up. The light has already won. And now the light is strengthening and revealing all the dark places, all that has been hidden and unseen. And things are being cleared right now, and things will accelerate very, very exponentially. So we are living in really exciting times, seeing these bigger global changes right in front of our eyes. It's amazing what's going on right now. So coming briefly to the law of one, unity consciousness is essential to recognize the unity between all, the interconnectedness, the interdependentness, the respect of all. That's number one. Loving yourself is extremely important. And then loving others is also extremely important. Loving the earth and loving nature, that is also part of law of one. Service to others, which means helping others, which means operating not from the ego greed, but simply having what you need, being abundant in having what you need, and then serving others, helping others. Because we don't really need much, and the real happiness comes by helping others. Unfortunately, that is still a difficult situation on this earth economically, but hopefully that will be fixed very soon. And therefore, with the global abundance, then it will become so obvious that helping others, service to others, is the most joyful activity that anyone can do. Because otherwise, everybody will get so bored of being lazy. So essentially, everybody will start finding what they like, what they love, what they're good at, and helping others as well. Service to others. Consciousness expansion is a recognition that you may say the evolution of consciousness. We may say ascension back into your original state. And responsible co-creation. Responsible co-creation. That is also extremely important. Yeah, so in very simple terms, a common respect to yourself, to others, helping others, realizing everything is connected, and living respectfully, living responsibly, and co-creating responsibly. It's all what it's about. And life is based on growth, on improvement. And the highest improvement is ascension, and it's a spiritual improvement. As human beings, we have a built-in positive side of a constant seeking of improvement. This is very good because it's a very positive quality of humanity that it's obviously here that everyone is constantly trying to make their lives better, to improve. Unfortunately, for most, this improvement ended in the materialism, in the physicality, and thus to continue evolving is to start improving in higher ways. Yes, the spiritual improvement, the ascension, the consciousness improvement. So that then fuels further activities apart from materialism. So when everybody will shift their focus from materialism into the spiritual evolution, so much happiness will come back. And so much support and mutual respect will return. So you may say, well, that sounds amazing, but when is it going to happen? Step by step. Step by step. First, we have to clear the big mess on this earth. We have to clear those who are causing the troubles. And things are progressing very well. And step by step, as things are reclaimed and restored, the obvious next step will be the spiritual evolution globally and expansion of our knowledge into the whole galaxy. So everything is happening step by step. And of course, the biggest priorities after the whole lockdown will be, removing the poverty and restoring abundance on this earth. The economy will change to what is called the resource-based economy. Yes, because now it's a capitalist economy. It's a capitalism, globalism and capitalism, which was about greed, power, and control. And that obviously doesn't work so well for human beings. It doesn't work good for us, we may say. So the new economy will be a resource-based economy because we have a very big paradoxes, which are very obvious, that in United States, in United Kingdom, statistically, there's like 30 or 40% of food wastage. And then we have, Bangladesh and Pakistan and Afghanistan and other countries who are more difficult who do not have food, and Africa and so forth. So it's not that we don't have food on this planet. It's just not shared properly, isn't it? It's just that resources are not shared properly. There are so many resources on this earth. We're living on such a beautiful planet. That's another good news. It's a beautiful planet where it's so abundant. It's just not managed well. Yeah, that's the problem. So resource-based economy is going to be the new economy that will come up. And if you would like to know more about it, you could research what's called the Venus Project. It's really, really amazing and special. So you can have a look at that. Yes, so now let's focus on energy work. And today we will begin our meditation with reclaiming your sovereignty, and we may say declaring your right of connection to the source, God, self, consciousness, to your highest self, to the highest being, the highest aspect of you, to the source within you. And then we will focus on, during this meditation, on realigning with the law of one, with the universal laws. so that everything which is, we may say, manipulated and distorted and negatively influenced, that you would increase your immunity towards that, towards the negative programming, so that you would recognize what is real, what is right, what is correct, in the law of one, as a universe itself, as humanism, as respect, and to recognize what is not correct and not real, and it's negatively manipulated and programmed. So so this is a very big empowerment. It's returning back to your source. And it's not a solar plexus based empowerment. It's a reconnection with divine, reconnection with your source within you. So this is the intention of tonight's meditation. And I invite you to make yourself comfortable, to sit with your spine more straight. And we will begin the meditation. So we will intend to connect to the universal laws and align with the source itself, source, God, self. First of all, let's make an intention to protect your energy field. You can visualize a golden egg, a golden bubble, protecting you, your body, your energy field. And now we can open all our channels, our nadis of light, to fully connect with our higher self and to invite our guides, our soul guides, and the relevant higher beings to come forward and assist us in this meditation. We may declare that our intention is to serve our source, to connect directly to our source within, to the highest power completely and totally. To recognize that the source is within you, that you are God, that God is within, that you are free and sovereign. You may visualize a golden beam connecting directly you to the source. You may visualize the source as the brightest sun in the universe. You can recognize that all came from the source, that all is connected with the source, and all is sustained by the source. We may make intention to connect with the sacred laws and sacred mechanics of the source, the creation. And now we may make intention to clear that which is not in alignment with the Source, God, Self. To clear any programming, any negative programming, any reversed programming that is not in alignment with the God, Source, Self. And you may visualize a bright white light clearing and removing the reversed vortexes, the reversed programming, the reversed energy fields. In this bright white light, we may witness and see the reversed vortexes spinning in a wrong direction. And this bright white light is clearing them off and reharmonizing and realigning you back into the natural vortexes, natural energy and data streams, natural codes, the codes of light. This bright white light or diamond light is purifying and cleansing any reversed data codes, any reversed vortexes, any unhealthy anomalies. So as these lower energies are being removed and disconnected, there is a white diamond light which is clearing, purifying, and beginning to reconnect you to the light, to the natural light codes, DNA codes, higher dimensional codes. With this diamond light, we choose to remember all consciousness memories, to reclaim and restore and retrieve all necessary information within your spiritual bodies throughout all time, space, and densities in alignment with the natural laws of God, Source, Self. We choose to reclaim all aspects of our God Self, Source Self, of the true spiritual identity, of the highest forms, of the highest heart, the highest mind, the highest body. Remembering the purpose of ascension, the purpose of living in the natural universe and its natural way. The source, the pure positive source, God Self, is the brightest sun. And the rays of the sun are the creation and the law of one, the natural way. We choose to look directly into the sun and not up to the reflections and mirrors. Because the truth is God, Source, Self. In this highest order, we recognize the unity of all. We recognize loving oneself, loving others, loving the nature, the earth, and helping others in their evolution, growth of consciousness, ascension, becoming higher human beings, awakened human beings in light, in the light of truth. This golden beam is a direct connection from you to the soul. The diamond light, white light is cleansing, purifying, and recoding everything back to the natural. And therefore, may your body, heart, and mind be the temple of the source. In the highest will and the highest purpose and service to others. In loving yourself and loving everything else as one. Because loving others is loving yourself, as all are connected in unity. Everything close and everything far is connected. Everything in time and space, in the past, present, and future, is also connected. And therefore, this diamond white light is clearing everything in all space, all time, past, present, future. Clearing any reversed vortexes, any anomalies, so that all can be restored to the natural law of one. So that all can be directly connected to the source, God Self. You may remember always and anytime to connect with this brightest sun source through this golden beam. You may remember any time that your body is the temple for this brightest sun. And you may clear what is needed to be cleared and cleansed, so that the directness and connection is more stronger and closer. You have the right and the power to do that at any time with your intention. It is the living truth, the living light, the living pure positive source. In love and respect and service to all, recognizing humanism, naturalism, the universal unity, and the all oneness, law of one. May it be so, and so it is. And when you're ready, you may start returning. As you have recognized already, returning to the source is your right. Returning to the source is your, let me say, responsibility. It is my responsibility to guide and assist, and it is your responsibility to have clarity, intention, and to actually practice the reconnection. It to remember, to practice, to do it wholeheartedly. And you will realize that this is the most important thing, because by realigning yourself to the Source God Self, everything else happens and manifests in your life with a higher purpose. It is important to also do the clearings and purifications, because there are, negative thoughts, difficult emotions, misunderstandings and doubts and worries. They happen because of unknowingness of the light of the truth. And it's not only the knowingness, but also connection, clarity, directness. So it is a practice. It is a practice. It is remembrance, re-realization, re-reconnection, re-returning. And to explain a bit more what is karma, it simply means error. Karma means error. That something, that there has been an error and it needs to be fixed. However, being a human being, making a mistake is not a problem. Yeah, mistakes are part of human nature. They're a way of growing. Karma means something which is out of alignment with the universal law. Yes, that's called anomaly or error of the universal laws. So it means that that will need to be fixed sooner or later. There will be no more judgments. It is not a karma of the old way, of the old traditions, where you need to be afraid of this and that. No, it's no longer the same. It's a law of balance and harmony. It's about balance and harmony, and to realign yourself to the natural law of way. So karma now, in this new beginning, in this Aquarian age, it means simply error. And if something is repeating in your life, it means it needs to be fixed. It needs to be healed. It needs to be recoded, purified, back into the natural way. That's all it means. At the same time, embrace your humanness. Don't be afraid of making mistakes, because it's a way of growing and learning. That has not really much to do with karma. It's a way of learning. It's a way of experimenting. It's a way of recognizing what is natural, what is unnatural, what is healthy, what is unhealthy to you and to others. And it's simply having the intention of learning and practicing the natural laws, the natural ways of balance and harmony and mutual respect and love. And whenever you hit some troubles and challenges and difficulties, the best thing is to have as little trouble and challenges. It's not to escalate them. It's not to fuel them. So the best way is to, whenever challenges arise, it's to neutralize them as quickly as possible. As quickly as possible. Okay, so how was this meditation for all of you? How did you feel? What was your experience? And if you would like to ask any questions, feel free to do so as well. Okay, Cameron, yes.
This meditation was incredible. It was so powerful that it was equal or greater than how I felt when I did my last full consciousness session with you. The energies were so magnificent. It was amazing.
Yes, it is, it is. Yeah, a full consciousness transmission is very similar as to today's meditation. Yes, very similar. Yes, in this meditation, we are working consciously reclaiming the power back, consciously reconnecting. So this conscious reclamation is very needed. Is very helpful for you to realize your own power, your own strength. And the full consciousness transmission is amplifying. It's to amplify this knowingness and feelingness of reconnection. Yeah, it adds the amplification effect. Yes, very good, very good. Thank you, Carmen. Leopold?
I want to ask about physical and spiritual. Is it possible for physical body to be enlightened?
Well, we can see that throughout the whole history, we know that it is possible that many beings have become and are enlightened. And of course, in Jesus and Buddha and so many hundreds and thousands of others. And it is not the body that becomes enlightened. It is enlightenment that becomes enlightened. It is a returning to the source. So body is simply a vessel. It's a vehicle, it's a vessel, it's a biological organism. The body is compatible with enlightenment, and that's amazing. Yeah, that the human body is compatible with enlightenment. That is amazing, because dogs and cats and mouse and other creatures, their bodies are not compatible for enlightenment. So their souls need to wait until they get a human body, that there is a compatibility with enlightenment. Yeah, so in the animal kingdom, unfortunately, it is a lower kingdom, and therefore they do not have ability or capacity to become enlightened. So this is a gift of humanity, that this human vehicle is compatible. And this is why all the saints have been always saying that every human being has this ability, possibility, opportunity. Not everybody takes that opportunity, but those who take the opportunity, they surely come closer and closer to the source. Enlightenment also can mean closeness to the source. Yes, you are all already enlightened to a certain degree. There is already light in all of you to a certain degree. Yes, you are already enlightened to a certain degree. And how? Because you already know that there is something higher, that there is something more beautiful. You already feel, you're already conscious, you know that. And of course, what's in the way is the mind, and the mind has doubts and worries and anxieties. That's the part of which is in the way. You are already all enlightened. You remove what's in the way and you say, oh, I have always been enlightened. I knew that always already. And all of you already know that in you, that source is within you, that you are connected, you're conscious, you're aware. And that is already your degree of enlightenment. And the more you know God's source self consciousness, the more you are that. Yeah? So it is your closeness, your directness, your familiarity, your remembrance, your reconnection, your directness to the God source self, which is your degree of enlightenment.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
I would like to share a little bit about this meditation that we did. And in my experience, when we started, I connected straight away with collective mind. And this, yes, and this seemed to be a biggest work happening in there, clearing exactly these psychological abuses. Yes, a lot of light shine on that, and also on the energy of lack. As we are opening more to abundance, I recognize the more we open, then we contract and go deeper to uplift that and clear that lack that most of the humans are experiencing in many different forms. And it can be so real that I agree that we need to remember to connect with that source all the time. And this has been my practice all day long, moment to moment, whatever you do, as it creeps out some kind of things and says, oh, maybe this one. And so you check it out with yourself and it's like, okay, I stay here. And it is hard.
Yeah.
I want to say, I feel many souls and many people can relate to that. It is very hard and hard work. And thank you for organizing these meetings and kind of gathering us and encouraging and bringing this trust that all is normal, that is happening like this, and rooting that light. It's very beautiful. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Renata. Appreciate it. Yes, the journey can be difficult indeed, and as these challenges come to the surface, and now we on the 3D level we see already in the media the global challenges of distortions and these errors, we can say, and then anti-humanist agendas. And this light is now shining through, because before it was hidden, before it was sort of normal, like 2-3 years ago it was sort of normal, but now it just blew up, in the whole media about, the children abuse and pedophilia and all these, sex trafficking and human trafficking and, all these really like disturbing things just blew up in the media. And that is, we may say, the collective karma. That's the collective issues of humanity that are now clearing, are being disconnected and discontinued, and are beginning to heal. And I can also tell that the collective journey of humanity very much resembles the individual awakening journey. Individually you are already at such a much higher, level and closeness to the God Source Self. But collectively, it's still quite at the bottom, and now it's kind of the light just started to shine. So it's a long road for humanity as a whole, but the more of us are individually progressing, then our lights strengthen the collective light. And that speeds up the whole process to everybody and makes things easier for everybody. So your individual journey is very largely contributing to the collective of humanity. And that is the law of unity and oneness. So therefore, what you do is very important to everybody else, and especially the things you do on a higher vibration, on a higher consciousness. So therefore, it is the same for all of us to support each other, and this is very important. Yes, and this is the intention of this meeting. Is to support each other, and therefore, to speed up this process, to make easier this process. And luckily at this time, it is a lot easier than, 20 years ago, 50 years ago. It is a lot easier right now to meditate, to awaken, to grow, because before, 30, 50 years ago, the energies were much denser. You would need to meditate for 10, 20 years just to kind of really find how to quiet your mind. Now you can do it quickly, and then you would just shoot up in the heavenly skies. It's becoming easier and easier, and as I shared, the big news today is that on February 10th, actually, to be very precise, this very large matrix technology network has been turned off and disconnected on February 10th, just like a good 2 weeks ago. So now we will see even much easier ways to go forward, to awaken and to raise vibration. Yeah, so everybody is working very hard from the heavens down to the earth. We're all working on this. Yes, we're all working on this. And yeah, so let's support each other, let's love each other, let's respect each other, let's shine this light forward to everybody else.